Today, I'm racing the 10K US Trail Running Championships, where I'll battle against some of the best trail runners in the nation for one of those coveted podium spots. Good morning, I am officially in Bentonville, Arkansas for the 10K US Trail Championships. Also, I just had to go to Denny's to get a drip coffee because the coffee at this hotel is so bad that I actually think it's a practical joke that they're playing on the guests, because I cannot imagine how it could possibly be this bad on purpose. Anyways, I'm about to go do my shakeout run, and then we just have the rest of the day to relax, basically. Finished my run and bib pickup. I got to see like most of the course, and it's not like a mountain course. It's rolling hills, lots of turns. But it's not going to be that fast, I don't think, because there's so many like rocks and roots and leaves on the trails and just so many turns. It'll be interesting though. It's so different from all the other trail races I've done this year, so I'm excited for it. Probably the most brutal part of this race is going to be the wake up. It's still nighttime. Why? This is the US Championships at 10K trail racing, and I know that the field might look small, but while it is small, it's also mighty, because this includes Rachel Tumalchik, who got 10th at the World Golden Trail Series finals, Lauren Gregory, who got 2nd there, Marissa Howard, who was 3rd at the Olympic trials in the steeplechase and made the Olympics, and then also me, which I don't have anything nearly as impressive that happened this year, but like, I like to throw myself in the mix, you know? Anyways, we had just gotten to the trail, and now this pretty quickly narrows out, so I wanted to make sure I was in a good position when we got to the single track. So right now I am sitting in 4th behind Lauren, Rachel, and Marissa. But once we had been on the single track for a little while, Rachel started to fall back from Lauren, and Marissa and I both passed her. So then I was sitting in 3rd place. This is Lauren going down the first descent, and then you'll see right now Marissa and I come around the corner. So we are not far behind her at this point. She definitely had a gap, but we're only about a mile in, so I still felt like catching up was possible. On this downhill, I noticed that Marissa was running a little bit more conservatively than I would like to, so I felt like I was having to cut my stride a tiny bit to stay behind her, and that's on me because I just don't feel comfortable passing on single track, and I guess it's just because I've never really done it before, but it feels risky in a way. Anyways, the reason Marissa was running a little bit conservatively on these downhills is because this is actually her first ever trail race. She told me after the race that she felt very, very strong on the uphills, but like she was losing some time on the downhills. And I definitely noticed that during the race, because when I was behind her, the uphills felt so good and strong, and like I would not want to go any faster. But on the downhills, I definitely noted that I could go a little bit faster if I was in front of her. So going into this second climb, I wanted to make sure that I was able to make the pass before we got to the downhill. So during this second climb, I stuck with her and kind of tried to pass a couple of times, but didn't quite do it until right before we hit the downhill, and then I passed, surged, and tried to put distance on her as quickly as I could. This footage is from right before I made the pass, and as you can see, the trail is super narrow and it's a very, very wooded area. So it was hard to make passes in this course, but I also knew that it was so important for my race that I got ahead of Marissa before the downhill. So right before we crested this hill, I managed to make the pass. Another thing about this course is because there were so many turns that I could see Lauren ahead of me, even though she was a little ways ahead. So you can see here, she turns a corner and you'll see me bobbing up along the other side of the trail, going towards that same corner. And so I could see her through the woods, and I was trying to count like how many seconds it was between her and me and trying to judge if I was making up ground or losing ground. On this next descent, I really tried to send it because I know that Lauren is such a strong downhill runner. I mean, she's a strong runner in all aspects of the word, but I know that she's really good at downhills specifically. So I knew that if I wanted to try to close the gap, I'd have to go really fast on the downhill. And when Lauren went past this road crossing, people were cheering for her. So I tried to count the seconds from when I heard the cheers for her and when I started to hear those cheers for me. And at the time, I thought it was about 20 seconds between us, which was not dissimilar from what it had been over 2 miles ago. So I thought, okay, if I'm maintaining, I can just pick up the pace a little bit and close that gap, then potentially I could win this race. Usually Lauren is quite a bit better than me on trails, but I know that this is a different distance and different style of racing, so I didn't want to sell myself short of what I was capable of, and I was really trying to push right now and continually recommit to the pace. When I went around a corner or went up a hill, I tried to immediately accelerate out of it and maintain a rhythm, even though that rhythm was constantly interrupted by the terrain. At this point, we basically had one final climb and descent left in the race. However, this was also the most technical part of the course, with more rocks, boulders, trees, and turns than any other part of the race. This is also when I started to struggle a little bit. I was really trying to push the pace and close the gap to Lauren, and because of that, I lost a little bit of my focus on the direction I was going. And these trails are literally a maze. There's intersections that have like 9 trails coming out of them, and as someone that is directionally challenged, that is not great for me. So I got to this point in the race where I didn't know if I was on course. I couldn't see flags in front of me, I couldn't see flags behind me, and there was a direction I could turn that was not blocked off. So I started running backwards on the course. Then I saw a flag and started running back the other way I'd come, and it turns out I was on course the whole time and I was just being paranoid. I did want to mention that all this data is provided by Coros. During this race, I was wearing my Coros Pace Pro, which is a new watch that they just released and I absolutely love it. I also had on my Coros arm heart rate monitor, so you can see that I maintained a very high heart rate throughout this whole race, which I'm super proud of because sometimes that's something I struggle with in trail running. Coros is a brand that I've relied on for over a year to provide me with super accurate data to inform both my training and my racing. So if you want to check it out, go to the link in my description. But anyways, let's get back to the race. So Lauren managed to grow her gap on me through both her incredible downhill running and my slightly wrong turn mishap blunder that I had. But I was still feeling really strong coming in second, and luckily I had a big enough gap back to Marissa that I was able to stay in second despite my confusion, and I felt so strong coming down this home stretch, which was amazing because often in trail running I feel so muscularly fatigued that I can't really stride out, but here I had a long, smooth stride, and I was so happy to get to the finish line feeling this way because that is never guaranteed, and when it happens, you really gotta appreciate it. And I was so excited to go 1-2 with Lauren because we've gotten to know each other this trail season, and she's really someone that I get along with so well. It was so much fun to get to do a little cricketing at the finish line with her. And Marissa ended up placing 3rd in her trail debut, which was super impressive, and I hope that she does more trail racing in the future. Afterwards, Lauren and I got interviewed, and it was honestly so much fun. If you want to hear us basically just giggle for 10 minutes straight, go watch the Dirt Circus live stream. Also, they did such a good job with providing coverage of this race, so shout out to Ultra Sign Up, Dirt Circus, and Nike Running for making this an amazing experience. I definitely want to come back in the future. Later, we watched the men's race, and it was super fun to cheer them all on. Thank you so much for watching, and that's all for now, folks.